Page 66, Amen. In this lesson, they're introducing you to syncopation. Syncopation, I don't agree with their definition, but it works for this piece. The idea of syncopation is you play a note or do an accent when you don't expect it, or you don't play the note or the accent when you do expect it. It throws the rhythm off just a little bit. Even though the underlying beat is the same, that what's going on above it is jagged. Look at the first measure. We would expect a note on beat 1, and we would expect a note on beat 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not playing the exact notes, but the idea is the rhythm. But what we're doing here is we're playing the second note a little early. It's before beat 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it comes early. We're not expecting it then. That's syncopation. Now let's talk about this piece. Let's see what's going on here. I look it over. It's 2 pages long. It's actually longer than that because of the repeat sign, but it's 2 pages of music to learn. And in case you're wondering, yes, this is a process I go through in learning a new piece of music. I go through the same process. I use this. You'll have your own process. Your teacher may have another approach or whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as when you go to learn a new piece of music, you have a plan of action, a plan of attack. How are we going to go about learning this? And this is what I teach in most all my videos. And it's a starting point for you to pick up as a way of approaching learning music. So again, I look it over. It's 2 pages. I just want an idea how long it is. That's all. Doesn't have to be exact. Just an idea. What am I getting into? I check the clef signs because they're not always treble and bass clef. Then the key signature. I want to know what key I'm in, at least to start. Now I can change through the piece and I might glance through and see, does it? Here it starts with 1 flat, which is the key of F major, and you'll see over on measure 14, the double bars, it's a new section. It goes into 1 sharp, which is the key of G major, so it is changing keys here. But as far as doing the scales, I'm going to stick with the beginning and just do the F major scale and the D minor scale, because those are the 2 keys with 1 flat in the key signature. If you want to go ahead and do the G major and the E minor scales, that's up to you, but I typically don't. I'll get to them eventually with another piece. And then the time signature is 4/4, and again, the time signature can change wherever, and I might glance through and see, does it? Here it doesn't. It's all 4/4. Now I'm going to take it one hand at a time first so I can make sure I know what the hands are doing, and I typically will connect everything except, of course, you lift up for the rest. So at the beginning we have this F chord, 1 and 2, and this is changed to a here. If you don't want to be up in here, then you need to use that. So, this is more comfortable here. So I would do a 1, 3, 5 if I'm going to do that. If I'm going to finger the second chord this way, I'm going to finger the first this way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But if you don't mind being up in here, you use fingering in the book. 1 and 2 and 3. It depends on how big your hands are, how fat your fingers are. Measure 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Get the idea? During the rest, come up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And during the rest, come up. Now here on measure 9, I suggest, because we have this coming up on the quarter note, rather than here, I mean you can, I'm just going to prepare for this. I'm going to do a 1, 2, 4 for the first chord. This way I'm in position. 1 and 2 and 3. And then come down. And then, now at the bottom, the last 2 measures there. Measures 11 and 12. You can do 1, 5 on all these. I don't recommend it, but you can. The melody's top note. I'd like to connect it. And let the thumb do the others. Here, if you can't. If you can't get it here, then you got to go here. And then you can do 1, 4. You just don't need to do 1, 5 on all those chords is what I'm after. You'll have to decide on the fingering that works for you. Your teacher can help you. Let's go over to measure 14. Now we've changed keys. Now we're in G major. 1 and 2 and 3. It's the same rhythm, the same ideas, just in G major now. And again, I measure 18. Because we have the C chord, quarter note coming up, I'm going to do the dotted half note, 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, and same fingering here. 1, 2. So I did 5 on both of these. Didn't have to, I just did. Because then I could do a 1, 4 and 1, 3. I'm connecting those. At the end, the last measure, during the rest you come up to this ugly looking thing. Well, just spell out the chord. It's a B, a D, an E, and a G. Yeah. It's like a G chord with an E added on. So once you have it, hopefully you got it. You don't have to spell it out again. But that's the technique of when you get a chord you don't know, you spell it out. Just one note at a time, bottom to top. Left hand, start here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and that rhythm is all over the place. Measure 9. 1 and 2. Now again, because the fourth beat in measure 9 is this. Now I really don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is 1 and 2. I'm going to change to a 5-2 for that. That way the thumb's ready. And I just stay there, which means in measure 18, again, I'm going to use 5-2 for the other 1 and 2 here. So my thumbs are ready for the E. It's the same fingering we did before. Okay, then I put the hands together. Well, the rhythm is the same. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's go to measure 5. 1 and 2 and 3. And if this tied notes, I just assume you get the tied notes like at the beginning. 1 and 2 and 3. Because you're just hanging on to it. You could take the ties out and play all the notes if you needed to. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. That's all it is. But you're just hanging on to the note instead of playing it twice. 1 and 2 and 3. See, you're on 1 and 2 and 3. See, they're all on B3, except the right hand's tied. I'm just hanging on to it. 1 and 2. And also the left hand's tied. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. So forth. You get the idea. Measure 5 again. They don't give you an accent. They get staccato, but no accent. Go ahead and put a little accent on it because it's syncopated. See that in the last measure, the measure 12? Staccato. Yeah. The measure 13 is... Remember, the right hand has a rest, staccato. That's it. Put in the articulation. The fermata at the end, the half note, you hold that out for however long you think it should be held, and when it feels right, you let go. If I do it with a metronome, I'll hold it for 4 counts instead of 2. I just double the value is all I do. If I'm performing it, I'll just feel how long I hold it. I don't know for sure how long because I'm not counting. Then the dynamics. F at the beginning, loud. That makes the accident notes very loud. There's no melody here. It's just all the same. And then I measure 5 when the piece starts. Now I'll come down a bit to moderately loud. That's the melody. This needs to be soft. That makes the accent and note sort of soft. We want to hear the melody. I'll measure 13. We're going to start getting a little louder. it's loud. This is still in the background. Measure 22, you're soft here, and there's no melody here, it's all chords, so it's both hands. That makes the accented notes moderately soft. They're just up a little bit. Now measure 23, you see a crescendo there? You're going to gradually get loud. You're going to go from soft to loud. Plan it out. Don't get loud until the last measure. So we're soft at measure 23. Next measure, a little louder. Little louder. Now loud. So you save most of your crescendo are getting louder toward the end. So you crescendo up and then you start getting louder. It's an effect. Again, it's part of interpreting the music. Well, that's what they want, so okay. The dynamics, the articulation, all this stuff we're covering, that's part of interpreting the music, feeling the music, getting into the music. They're giving you some guides to go by, some suggestions of things to do and how to interpret it. If you feel it slightly different, go for it. Then the speed, with a lively swing. The key word there is swing. We're going to swing the rhythm. It's not 1 and 2 and 3 and. It's going to be 1 and 2 and 3. Feel this all the way through. Just bump, 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 bump. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So measure 5. 1 and 2. And 2 and 3. You can hardly tell it because you don't have a lot of eighth notes in here, but still it's like that 1 and 2, that and it's right before it. It's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3. It's not 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. It's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Feel this all the way through. And then, of course, lively is not too slow. Huh? Now they've added pedal. Well, of course, we learn it without pedal first. We want to make sure the hands and fingers are doing everything they're supposed to do. And then when we add pedal, we can kind of tell the difference, what the effect it is. Most of what this is having is on the half notes. They're a measure 10, 11, that kind of thing. It's helping us connect them. And it's also giving us the overtone because these are longer notes. Bottom, it changes the tone, gives us some contrast in it so it doesn't all the same. So at the beginning, with this and the accent and all, I'm going to go ahead and push the pedal down with the note. And lift it up as I play the next note. And then for measure 10, now here I can lag the pedal. I want legato. So I'm going to push the note down first and then the pedal. Change it after I play it. But on the last measure, I have to lift it up so I get a staccato. So again, it's here, measure 10. 1, 2. And that's basically the pedaling. They do the same thing in measure 19 and 20. That's fine. And then at the end is similar to the beginning. Measure 22, you push the pedal down with the note. And at the end with the notes. And release it with the notes. please don't copy me. It's just one way of doing it. You don't have to take it at that speed. You experiment with the dynamics. You can alter these a little bit as you feel them. Let's play this very slowly together to check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the louds and softs. I'll try and do the accents if I can. I'll go ahead and pedal it so you can see that too. I'll give us 4 counts, and we are going to do the repeat. See the repeat signs, the first and second endings, remember those? The first time you play it, you'll play the first ending, and that repeats you back to measure 5. That's a reverse repeat sign. You go back to there. And the second time you play it, you skip the first ending because you've already done it, and go to the second ending at measure 13 and go on from there. That's how that works. I'll give us 4 counts. 1 and 2 and ready and go, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 2 repeat 1 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 second ending 1 and 2 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Rest 2, hold 2.